Good evening. Kathy Beatty here with Divorce Support Anonymous. Welcome. It's Friday night. Sorry about the corny, uplifting holiday music, but it's going to be surrounding you for the next month or so. So we're going to start focusing in on holiday help. And we're going to start that topic tonight, the day after Thanksgiving. It is a time of year when all of the experiences of going through the trauma of divorce and separation are magnified because it's a time of tradition, it's a time of family, it's a time of the sameness that we have been used to. And yet, as we go through the trauma of divorce, things change, life changes. So, I want to start talking about that topic tonight to hopefully give you some help and some hope. We're going to talk about getting through the holidays. This evening and through the month of December, I'm going to come in every day around somewhere around noon. I'm not going to restrict myself to one particular time, but you're going to hear from me through the month of December. And we're going to talk about a little bit of Christmas every day and how not to let the Grinch of divorce steal Christmas. Even though we are going through a difficult period in our life, and it is a period, it's not a destination, it's simply a transition. We need some help to get ourselves through this. It's a difficult time of year for us as we're going through divorce. I certainly remember my first divorce and second and third after or holidays after divorce was a very difficult time. I remember it. I remember the pit in my stomach as I watched the children leave and go be with their father during the holidays. And it was so very painful. And you wanted to just scream and say, it's not supposed to be this way. How in the world did we get here? But we are here. And so we do have to help ourselves get through this period of time. So we're going to talk about that today. And no better fitting time than the day after Thanksgiving. I have posted some videos about preparing for Thanksgiving and experiencing Thanksgiving. And I hope you were able to review those to again prepare you and give you structure as you go through this holiday. But we're going to talk about getting through the holidays. And for those of you who are despairing, we're going to talk about that as well. So, wanted to just make sure that my sound was good. Last week, I did a Friday Night Live and the sound was terrible. I don't know why. I had so many technical issues, whether it was internet or what, but it was. And my apologies for those of you who struggled and tried to get through it. And basically, I'm doing a lot of that same material tonight so we can deal with this topic and get this message to you. If it's a repeat of what you did make out from last Friday night, that's okay because repetition is going to be helpful as you hear it once again um, in helping yourself get through the holidays. First of all, I want to give you permission or let you know that grief is okay during this period of time. It's okay to allow yourself to grieve. And you can do that privately, certainly, or you can do that with a friend or a counselor or a pastor or a support group. For you to be able to express the sorrow and the pain that you are going through is really healthy and necessary for you to do that. So, as you go through this holidays and you think, oh, I've got to keep this cheery smile on my face to get through it. No, you really don't. You need to be real with where you are and who you are and what you're dealing with, and give yourself permission to have grief, to have those sadness period of times where you sit in the sadness and that you don't ignore it, but you face it and you identify it and you articulate that you do, in fact, have grief. You are grieving. You are hurting. And as we do this, sorry, I've got a little growling dog here at my feet who's going to make a little bit of noise tonight. As you're going through this grief and through this period of time, you need something to hold onto because it is such an insecure time and a difficult time, and we are not standing as strong and as sure-footedness as we once were. We need something to hold on to. So people are going to hold on to a number of things, and you may hold on to another person. That may be a therapist, again, a friend, a pastor, a support group. You're going to hold on to a person to steady you, to help you from floundering all over the place, to give you some stability and a foundation. You may hold on to a person. You may also hold on to an idea that you are going to get through this and that you're going to be patient and you're going to work through it. That's an idea. You may be holding on to faith, believing that God is going to get you through this period of time. You are going to not only get through it, you're going to reach the other side. And people can hold on to hope, believing that not only am I going to get to the other side, there's going to be a life for me on the other side. So we can hold on to hope. Some will hold on to different philosophies and to try to steady themselves. And some, unfortunately, will hold on to things that are artificial, such as drugs and alcohol, the next relationship or sex, looking for that next sexual experience to prove to ourselves that we are of value, that we are attractive. And those are artificial means because they only further complicate what is already a complicated period of time in your life. But we are, you can be sure, going to look for and find something to hold on to. My hope for you is that you are going to hold on to the very person of Jesus Christ and the very hope that God gives and has for us of second chances and redemption and forgiveness and hope and faith and all of those things that are always found within the scriptures and found within God. I always say Psalms understands. The Psalms understand. So just reading through the Psalms and hearing the heartache and the outcry of so many who were truly hurting, in pain, most of them, a majority of them written from David, King David, and you'll hear his outcry. But always at the end, you'll see just a glimmer of hope. And that's what I'm hoping and praying for you, that even though this is a difficult time which you're grieving through, you can see just that little glimmer of hope to be able to get you through to the other side and to through the holidays. So, what does it mean to wait and to hope? And there are a couple of definitions actually in different words in the Greek in the scriptures that I didn't have room here to put all of the words, and plus you or I wouldn't remember them tomorrow because we're not used to Greek words. But I was intrigued by the different definitions of those words of hope, and that is to wait, to expect, to tarry. And in one Greek word, it means literally a cord. Figuratively, it means hope, expectation, something. And here we have it, something to hold on to, a refuge, a shelter, a place of hope, expectation of good and confidence. So there are verses and words for hope in the scriptures, and these are just some of the definitions of those words. And we know that hope is a decision. It's not a feeling, it's not necessarily an emotion. It's really a decision to believe, to have the faith, to have the hope that beyond this is another life, a real life, a beautiful life. And I know the times going through the holidays can be hard to find sometimes. We can be overcome with loss and grief and hurt, but we also can make the decision through all of that in our mind and in our heart that I'm going to believe. I'm going to believe. I can't see it right now. I can't feel it. I don't know it. But I'm going to believe the evidence of things that are not seen. I'm going to hope that on the other side of this, when I do my work of intentionally working on my healing, that on the other side of this, I'm going to find a life that is beautiful and full of hope and beauty and faith and love and all of the things that make life worth living. So hope is a decision, not something we can see, not something that's empirical, but it's a decision that we make to hold on to. When we do have those moments of hopelessness and despair, we need to take action. We need to allow ourselves to grieve, but then we also need to take action. How do we do that? Well, we get a paper, a pencil, a journal, something, and we begin to give our despair description. Because when we can write it out, this is how I'm feeling, and we find the words to describe it, our hopelessness and our despair in those moments, it really empowers us to manage it. It doesn't leave us without control. It actually, if we can give it description, we can articulate the pain that we are feeling, we actually can make it manageable. I feel like I don't have a tomorrow. I feel like I don't have any value, like I am not lovable. Whatever it is that's going on in your heart and head, we can put those things down. We can write them down. And it also helps us to identify what are the lies that we're believing. Of course, you are lovable. You were created out of love. You are loved by God incredibly, personally. Personally, you are loved. You are loved. For God so loved you that he gave his only begotten Son. So we need to be able to put down some words to be able to manage those moments of despair. What is it that I'm feeling? What is it that's so heavy inside of me that I'm feeling that I need? Hey, Stephanie, good to see you tonight. What is it that I'm needing to define that's going on in my heart and head? It just feels like a tangled mess. But if I can begin to write out some words, you may need help with this. You may need again, a therapist, someone who's going to help you and ask you good questions to draw out what is it that I'm feeling? Why is it I'm feeling this despair and hopelessness? And it may seem obvious, well, because I'm going through a divorce. But the more you can drill down to that, I am feeling hopeless because I've lost the dream of what I thought my future was going to be. I feel hopeless and despair because I don't know how to deal with this with my children. There are specific things that you can write down to make it more manageable. And again, just like the little video that ran in the beginning, don't go through this alone. Don't think you can do this alone. Start with your journal, start with it, but don't stop there. Find someone to guide you through this difficult time, a divorce coach, a therapist, a pastor, a friend, someone who is wise and kind and able to listen and ask you good questions is so, so valuable. And then we need to look at it. We need to ask the question, okay, here's how I'm feeling. This is my situation. What can I control here? That is so empowering. That is so empowering. What can I control in this situation? What is it? I can't control the divorce that's going to happen. I can control my role in it. I can control how I heal from it, how I respond, how I react to it, but I can't control what's happening. I can't control that the father is not involved with the children. I can't control that the mother is not taking care of the children as she should or how I wish she would. You can't control that. It can consume you if you spend so much time on what you can't control. So ask yourself the question as you were feeling hopeless, as you were feeling in despair, as you were trying to get through these holidays, what can I control here? Again, that is so empowering. I can control what I do. I can control what I believe, what I think. I can control reaching out for help if I reach out for help. Those are the things that I can control. I can control making an appointment with a therapist. That I can control. And you're going to see as you go through these periods of hopelessness, these periods of despair going through the holidays, that once you learn to gain some control of the situation, you do not feel that despair or hopelessness as much as you once did. It's so empowering and so very helpful. Another thing to do is to look at, okay, let's try to look at this objectively. Let's try, and this is a challenge, believe me. Let's try to look at this as a factual problem and take my emotions totally out of it. I'm going to look, maybe it's the math. Maybe it's the math of the situation or the math of Christmas. Instead of despairing, I don't have enough money, looking at it as to, okay, I've got a problem here. How do I look at this objectively? And what are some of the ways in which I can approach this problem? Difficult to do because the holidays are full of emotion. But again, we're going to look at this in a different perspective and we're going to do something. We can control that. We can write it out on a piece of paper. These are my problems. Now, what are the approaches that I need to take? Because we can get so bogged down with our emotions. They can, and here's my next question, lie to you. Our emotions, our feelings can lie to us because we listen to those lies, so many lies. So we need to look at this. Okay, here's my problem. How am I going to work on this problem? What are some options with this problem? I don't have enough money to buy the kids the Christmas gifts that I want to do. That's my problem. Now, how do I look at this objectively? What are some solutions to my problem? And maybe you have a friend. Here's my problem. What are some solutions, some creative things which I can do with this problem? Maybe I can find another way to get those gifts. Maybe I can go to a consignment shop or a Goodwill and I can look for something close to the gift that I want to give. There are options. We despair when we don't think we have options or we don't think that we have control. But if we find that we do have control and put our emotions to the side as much as we can, we're going to see ourselves become empowered. Find someone to share your heart with. Not everyone is safe, but find the right healthy people to share your heart with. You need to be sharing your heart. You need to be talking right now so much. You just so need to be talking right now. And if you don't have anyone to talk to, it's time to find those healthy people that you can share your heart with. Who are they? Maybe they're new people you've never met before. Maybe that's in a support group. Maybe that's with a therapist, a pastor, a friend. Understand that healing is a process as you go through this, as you go through this holiday. The next holiday is not going to be as difficult as this one if it's your first. The next one, if this is your third, the next holiday is not going to be as difficult as this one. It's difficult now because of the emotions, because of the pain that you're dealing with. But understand this is a process. I'm not going to get through it tomorrow. I'm not going to be clear and have all my ducks in a row a week from now. It's a process. that I need to be intentional about. So let me just give you a couple of scriptures of hope. Those who hope in the Lord renew their strength. That's what the scriptures promise us. Those who hope in the Lord renew their strength. They soar on wings like eagles. They run, they don't grow weary. They walk and they will not faint. Hope in the Lord. Next, yet this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed. For his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness, God. Yet this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. Even through the rough holidays, even through those despairing times, we have hope. We can't always see it, but we have hope. And my prayer for you through this holiday season is that you find the hope. That you, when you go to look for something to hold on to, that you find something real. And that real is the goodness and the hope of God in his love for you, and the belief and the glimmer, even if it's just a little glimmer, that beyond all of this messy chaos, a beautiful life is waiting for me. A beautiful life is waiting for me. I know that's true for you. I hope this holiday season really brings you a new appreciation, that this rawness that you are feeling is used to be more sensitive to God's Spirit that surrounds you this very moment, and only ask that you call upon him for comfort, for love, for hope. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week. God sees all of us, my friend. Thank you, Stephanie. Indeed, that is the case. Have a great week, and we will see you next week. And then the whole month of December for 5-10 minutes, I'm going to jump on and get you through it. Sometimes we just got to get through it. Have a great week.